Hi, I'm Terry, and we're in my shop. It's a real mess right now, if you sort of just see what I got here. We're cleaning up the shop. We're getting it all put together. Right now it's a disaster, but I wanted to show off. What I did is I went to the big box hardware store, and I went in the US and I bought the cheapest deadbolt there, and I went in Canada and I bought the cheapest deadbolt at Home Depot. There's slight differences. The US version is English and Spanish, and the Canadian version is English and French. Spanish and English, no, Spanish and French, very close. But I wanted to see if there's a difference besides the packaging, is there a difference in the actual lock? Because I've been seeing some differences in some of the other brands, and we'll get into that in other videos, where they have like an Asian market version, they have an American version, they have a European version. But this today is US versus Canada. Are they the same? What's the differences? And we are going to literally destroy these locks too. So stand by. This is going to be kind of fun. We're going to be just tearing these locks apart. So let's see what we got here. We got that, the bolt. Instructions, we don't need that. And there's the key. So basically, let's pull out, I'll just do this one first. And I'm going to take it apart now. And I'm going to see what we have inside the lock. For this one says it has 3 mushroom pins and, you know, blah, blah, blah. Let's just see what it has to say. Okay, so remove the little C-clip. I hate tearing these things off, so I'm just going to use my follower. HPC follower. I'm going to put the key in. I was turn it 45 degrees. Take my hollow follower and just push her through. Kept all the top pins there. Now, this has never been apart before. This is right out of the box. It's missing. Can't make this stuff up. It's missing its first pin. So it's only got 4 pins. So I'm missing number 1. So this will be number 2. Well, let's just pull it up this way. Okay, this is number 2, bottom pin. Number 3, bottom pin. Number 4, bottom pin. Number 5, bottom pin. So that's the code on that one is 12422. Let's see the top pins. Okay, this is can't make this stuff up. Actually, it's got a can you see that? It's got a pin in there, but no spring. There we go. So we have a top pin in the first position, no bottom pin, and there's no spring. Okay, you saw that. It was a sealed package. It's missing that. Number 2 is a regular top pin. The springs aren't coming out too well. Just 1 spring, 2. There was no spring in the first. Okay, we got another. On the 5th is a mushroom. Got the spring there. And that one is a regular driver. And it has a spring. There we go. Okay, I figured it out what we really have in here. We had the bottom, because there was no spring, I had the bottom pin and the mushroom pin in the top of the Bible. So in the top there was the mushroom. So when I took it apart, the first pin was empty because it had all been in the top. It was jammed up there, but no spring. Then the rest were all regular. So that's how it was. So that's how it really is. We have 5 bottom pins, 5 drivers. 3 of the drivers are mushrooms, which in theory makes it a little bit more difficult to pick. So, but only 4 springs. So I'll put this all back together again. I'll put the proper spring in it. We'll get it all fixed up. And let me just put this while we're here. Let's just put this in here. Let's just see if that's even the right bottom pin for the first position. Yes, it is. It's correct. So, and look at that's extremely poorly manufactured right there. So even with the drivers in there, it's going to be extremely easy to pick. Okay, so that's how it should be, and I'll get an extra spring here, put this back together again. So I always, because it's easier, I do number 3 first. Then I'll do number 2. I'll do the first one. So this is, I just grabbed a spring. And the first is a mushroom. So does have 3 mushrooms. So we did have a mushroom in the first. And then I just go from the back. It's easier than trying to. So I'll do number 4. No, actually, yeah, that's number 4. There'll be a driver. It just makes it easier. And I'll do number 5. Put the spring in, and 5 is a mushroom driver as well. Okay. Throw it back together again. And throw the flip back on. Okie dokie. Okay, here is the Canadian version. So we were playing with this one. So I got the drive in there. I'll change this to a drive in as well. So the bolts are exactly the same almost. I see no difference in the bolts. Thumb turns are the same. Does that one look more nickely than? No, they're about the same. Thumb turns are the same. The housing is different. And slightly different metal, slightly different housing. Maybe this has something to do with the different fire regulations on apartments, condos. I don't know. I'm just going to save a lot of time. They're exactly the same. They're obviously missing on some quality control by missing a whole spring. It also reduces your security, but actually could make it a little bit more difficult to pick. Sometimes when you're missing a spring, you just can't pick it, and it's just sitting there silly. But the one thing that I wonder now is this vulnerable to a comb attack? So we're gonna, in another video, we'll pick them. I'll do a comb attack because with the way it was sitting in here with the Bible, I think this is vulnerable to a comb attack. So we know they're going to be easy to pick, even with the mushroom pins. But now I'm thinking the way that was sitting, a comb attack would work pretty good in there. So, which I've never really thought about before. So it's kind of interesting. Which is basic on padlocks. You do a comb attack. If you want to see comb attacks, I got videos coming up on comb attacks, and I'm definitely going to. We're going to destroy these today, but I'm definitely going to pick up a couple more, and we'll try comb attacks on them. And if the comb attacks work on these things, like holy mackerel, that's sad. But we'll see. I'm going to put them on the display board now, and then we're going to destroy them. I want to see what the comparisons of the two. It is adjustable. That's 2 3/8, 2 3/4. So let's see, is that the back set here is 2 3/4? Yes, it is. So we're going to install the Canadian one at the top. One of the big mistakes I always see is people call us up all the time my lock won't go in right, or I put it together right. You know, take the key out of your lock, extend the bolt, and then install it. And 99 times out of 100, this thing will go together correctly if the bolt is out. Actually, this one could, I take that back, this one could still go together wrong, even with the bolt out. Let me just see here. Yeah. So I hate to say it, but this one, whether the bolt is out or the bolt is in, it's 50-50 that you're going to get it right. So think about the timing on this. So I got the bolt out, I put the key in, I got to turn it counterclockwise to open it. So in this case, if I put it in this way, it's going to jam on me. I put it like this, and it goes together good. Most locks are, if the bolt is out and the key is out, it'll go together perfect. This one won't. Let me just see if I timed it right. Now remember, just go snug on this stuff. Don't go crazy tight. Let's install the US version. Oops. It's too short. Again, lots of night calls. Just because people buy a lock can't get it on. On this version, probably read the instructions. The bolt is in, it'll go together perfect. So, there we go. Bolts have saw resistance, so if they try to saw these little pin inside, I don't know if it's hardened or whatever, it looks like it's a hardened little pin. So, there's our two versions, Canadian, US versions. They're almost the same. What I'm going to do here is destructive entry. I want to see if there's hard plate in both of them or none of them, and then we're just going to drill the screws. Okay, we got the two Defiants, we got the Canadian and the US version. We're going to just drill the shear line. Let's see what happens. I don't know, and I'm going to let Jeff, our apprentice, I'm going to let him drill it. He knows roughly what to do for doing the shear line. So on this, we're going to do the shear lines first, and then we're going to drill the screws. And we're going to see if there's a hard plate behind there. So, Jeff, let's see what happens. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's just take our screwdriver. First time drilling a lock. What happens is the springs get in the way sometimes. So and remember, you only got to go in just an inch, that's all. Yeah, that's all. Watch your fingers. See, just there, just wow it out a little bit. Be careful you don't break the drill bit though. Okay, remember this is his first time doing it, so be gentle, people. Okay, let's say we didn't get this. It's not going. Okay, so let's go to the backup plan. The backup plan. So let's just lock this. So we can't get in this way. We could. We just got to get these little pins out and everything. But let's say that we're actually locked out of this. We can't get in. So the next step is, or if it's going, the next step to break into this is, let's just take off the little, it's only a little piece of tin here. My new favorite tool. Now look at this. There is hard plate in there. And you can see the hard plate there. Now what that protects, in theory, it would protect the screws from us drilling the screws. But it hasn't stopped us at all drilling the shear line. Now what's really interesting is the hard plate, as soon as I peel all this off, the hard plate will just fall out. You can see it right now. Like look at the hard plates ready to come out. So you got this little piece of nothing tin. Now sometimes it just pops right out. This one's giving us, So let's just get this out of the way. So look at this piece of hard plate here. Look at that.
Yep.
The hard plate is protecting us from drilling the 2 screws, but just by taking off that piece of tin, the hard plate's now out, and we can see the 2 spots we got to drill. So we're going to just drill those 2. Again, this is his first time doing it. I always do a little bit there, then a little bit there, a little bit there, and then we're going to get it. Now it gets hot, so you got to be careful. So drill out the screws, and then that will just get it all the way off. There you go. Yeah, you got to be careful. Now this is unfortunately what he did is he drilled in too far, and that's why he had trouble getting it out. He drilled in too far, he hit the actual, and again, this is first time ever drilling a lock. He drilled in too far, and that sort of disconnected the tailpiece a little bit. So that's why he had trouble getting it open that way. So don't drill in too far. Now once we've gone this far, I'll let you finish it off. Just put your screwdriver in there and open it up. There you go. So this is, you've just hit the mounting screws, and then you just go in with your screwdriver and open it up. Now, a very common failure is that these bolts fail, and even so you've drilled it out, and even doing this, it won't come back. This is where we have to actually start pulling this bolt apart piece by piece, and this is one reason I like this, because I can get a good grip on this, and it's basically peeling off all the bits and pieces. And it's brutal, but you don't wreck the door, you're just wrecking the lock. But you've already had the bolt has failed, so then, tearing this thing apart is no big deal. And it's only a little bit of, it's just a piece of, pop metal. It's very easy to, start taking it apart. Okay, beginner locksmiths. You saw what happens when you drill in too far on the previous video. So for beginners, it's always a good idea to put a piece of tape or whatever you got on there. The thing is, we only got to drill. We're drilling the shear line. So we're only going, this is a 5-pin, not a 6-pin. So right till we hit the tape there, we've gone enough for drilling the shear line. So don't drill it in all the way. I've seen that happen too many times. So that's it. We only got to drill that far. Same thing with picking. You only have to go in a little bit. You don't have to go too far in for picking. So put a piece of tape on there, whatever you got, black magic marker, and then don't drill too far when you have to drill open a lock. Okay, this is the second lock he's ever drilled. Let's see how he does on the second attempt. Yeah, put in the comments. Some people say drill slow, some people say drill high. I go very fast, and a lot of people like to go slow. So drill bits are cheap. There's one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see if there's another one. Oh, he had one more. Yeah. So. That's just the pins. That some of the top pins have fallen back down, and sometimes the springs get in the way. Because it's turning a little bit, we know we hit the right depth. There's a little bit of debris in there, a little bit of springs. It just jams it up. This is real life. This is not makeup. There we go. It was just that piece of burr in the way, right? So brute force and ignorance. Again, it's usually just press fit on there. It's only a little piece of tin. He's never done one of these before, so be gentle on the comments. And what we're doing is we're going to see if there's hard plate in here. In theory, we should never have been able to drill the shear line with the hard plate. I always drill it like it does have hard plate, and sometimes the hard plate does get in the way, but sometimes not at all. And in this case, no, the hard plate didn't get in the line. There's the hard plate. Pop out now. There we go. Sometimes it just pops off, sometimes it gives you trouble. Now you can see exactly where we have to drill the mounting screws, there and there. So we're going to drill out the 2 mounting screws. Again, hard plate came out really, really easy. There you go, look at that. So again, easy to open once you drill it, drill the mounting screws. Okay, good stuff. Job well done. Go fast. So again, that says it. You can go slow and careful or just go for it. Have a good day. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Subscribe to my channel. Also, visit my website and you can see what online locksmith training I have for beginners, intermediate, and advanced, as well as my covert methods of entry and my non-destructive methods of entry.